Hello and welcome! Today we're gonna be talking about crouched movement. Let's just jump straight into it. The high crouch isn't too much of a crouch. It's more like getting lower, but too low. Bend your knees a little, push your hips back and lower your back, but without bending your spine so that you can still look forward without straining your neck too much. Additionally, to achieve better balance, you can bend your elbows at 90 degrees so that your hands are along the front of the line between your chest and stomach. One thing you definitely should do is put your feet at a fighting stance, so one a bit in front of the other, the one further back pointed a bit off to the side, and space them out a bit more than normal. Do all of this and you should be 3/4 of your original size. How much does that help? I don't know. Aside from the obvious of traversing cover, maybe you could use this when you are sneaking just behind an opponent to taking out and need to make yourself smaller in case he looks a bit to the sides or to conceal your shadow from him. Moving on a high crouch. It's really simple, just a redo of regular stealth walking, but on this stance. Other than that, really just a redo, so I won't talk more about it here. The mid crouch. An actual proper crouch and a direct evolution of the high crouch. Bend your knees a bit more, push your hips back a bit more, and lower your back a bit more while still keeping it straight or mostly straight. Do the same things to achieve better balance, and that's it. With this, you should be a bit lower than 3/4 of your original size. How much does that help? Probably the same stuff from the high crawl, but a bit more. Moving on a mid crouch. Almost the same as before, but now I wouldn't recommend moving to the sides by using the technique where your legs cross each other, because it's too hard to maintain sufficient balance. The low crouch. The lowest of the crouches. Put your feet at a fighting stance, but without spacing them out more than normal, and lower yourself until you are sitting on the heel of the back foot. No need to lower your back any more than it was in a mid-crouch. Again, without curving your spine too much. Your hands are kept free. That's it. This is a pretty stable position. So stable in fact, that when on a high or mid-crouch, you should revert to this position if you're just going to stay in place for longer than a few seconds. Provided you aren't being seen while you were doing the transition, of course. It's much less tiring than keeping a high or mid crouch, but you will still eventually get tired. In that case, just switch out to sit on the heel of the other foot. This crouch should get you to almost half of your original size. How much does that help? Again, probably similar stuff to the other two, but at this point it's so slow and difficult to move that I question if it wouldn't be better to just go for something like a high crawl. Only thing that I can think of at the moment would be that it would take longer to get up to other stances. But other than that, I imagine it's much less tiring, more stable and possibly quicker. But I haven't moved on a high crawl before, so I don't really know if any of that is true. Moving on a low crouch. To move forwards, you transfer your weight and sit on your lead leg. Then move the back leg forwards. Transfer your weight and sit on it. Move the other leg forwards. Keep repeating until you reach the position you want to reach. Then revert back to the standard low crouch. To move to the sides, well, if it's just a single movement, kind of like an adjustment to your position, then it's determined by what side you wish to move to. If it's the side of the lead foot leg, just reach out with the lead foot leg, position it on the ground, transfer your weight there, and bring the back foot leg to that position. Then sit on the back foot leg's heel again. If you wish to move to the back foot leg side, then you must transfer your weight to the lead foot leg side, reach out with the back foot leg, position it on the ground, transfer your weight back to it, then bring the lead foot leg to that position. If it's more than a single movement, then I would recommend changing your stance to a Slav squat and adapting the no leg crossing side walking technique to the Slav squat position. Alternatively, you could change your facing 90 degrees and move to the sides by moving forwards, and I find that to be much less tiring. As for moving backwards, I have found no good way to do that. You are much better off just changing your facing so that you move backwards by moving to the sides or move backwards by moving forwards. I will not elaborate on how to change your facing, as I think that at this point it's intuitive enough to not warrant an explanation, so just look at the footage. Additionally, all of this is very dependent on your balance. Regarding balance, it would probably benefit my balance a lot to put my hands on the ground in order to provide extra support and balance. But in virtue of the possibility that in an actual operation I may be carrying something on my hands, I think it's better to not rely on that, at least not while training. Now for a section that is really, really important: how to train this. On a strategic level, as in hours and days, you must not exceed 15 minutes of active training for crouch related stuff per day. You must train at most one day and give your knees some rest on the other, maybe even more days of rest. Not doing this will absolutely destroy your knees. As I said on the introduction episode, do not get chronic knee pain. It's horrible. If you do leg exercises at the gym, count it as a crouch training day. Cardio does not count as a leg exercise unless it's something like going upstairs, or maybe you just get that pain in front of your legs. I don't know what the name of that part of your leg is. On a tactical level, as in minutes and seconds, I have divided training time in a ratio of 1 to 2. 1 minute of training and 2 minutes of resting. However, if you get tired during training time, don't stop the clock. Let it run while you rest. Your body needs time to adapt, and the time you spend resting during training time is both a good indicator of how you are progressing and a much needed barrier to stop you from overworking yourself. At the start, I spent half of the training time actually training and the other half resting. This is one of the few situations where hard work does not pay and will be inefficient by making you have to wait many days to continue training due to knee pains. So rest up and enjoy. Extra notes: the lower you go, the slower you go. For some reason, things that are easy and intuitive are really hard to describe and explain. Throughout all the training groups I've already done, I have noticed a repeating pattern. That of being really bad on the first day of practicing something, then having major improvements on the second day. It's really interesting. I have no clue why this happens though. Honestly, I'm just putting this note here as a reminder that you shouldn't expect to be good at anything on your first few attempts. Making mistakes at the start is normal, so don't push yourself. This is advice for life in general, not just stealth. Well, this is it for crouched movement. Next episode will probably be about walking in complete darkness. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone. I just wanted to say sorry about the stupidly long time between videos. I couldn't find an editor to the channel, and then later school grabbed me by the balls and just didn't let go until the end of the year. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do as much work as possible during school break, but you can probably still only expect like 2 videos, because I'm gonna be traveling for a long time. I'm gonna still be trying to write scripts during the time that I'm traveling, because it's what I can do. Then I'm gonna have like 2 or maybe 3 weeks to edit things. So yeah, channel update over. Once again, goodbye and have a good one.